Welcome to This Explainer. Okay, today we are putting on our financial analyst hats and looking at something literally every single brick-and-mortar business owner has to deal with, storefront glass. Specifically, we're going to be talking about exterior rolling shutters. But listen, we are absolutely not just going to talk about them as basic physical barriers made of metal or PVC. No way. As we look ahead to 2026, we really need to start treating these systems as strategic financial assets. If you want a storefront, your glass is a major vulnerability, and how you protect it directly impacts your bottom line.
So I want to challenge your mindset right out of the gate here. Ask yourself, is a security shutter just an expense or is it an investment? Because honestly, if you're only looking at the initial price tag, you are missing the bigger financial picture. When you start factoring in the potential for lowered insurance premiums, the massive cost of avoided theft, and the prevention of business downtime caused by shattered glass, well, the math completely changes. Protecting your glass isn't some sunk cost. It's a highly measurable return on investment.
Here's our prospectus for today's explainer. First, expense or strategic investment. Second, high-tech security asset classes. Third, cost-effective and environmental defenses. And fourth, calculating your security ROI. Okay, let's dive into this.
All right, Section 1, Expense or Strategic Investment. We are shifting the security paradigm.
Look, as a business owner, your storefront glass is essentially a giant, fragile gateway right to your inventory. To protect it properly, we need to define exterior rolling shutters in purely financial terms. Think of them as a risk mitigation asset. Basically, this is a capital outlay that yields a serious long-term ROI. How exactly? By actively preventing inventory theft, stopping vandalism dead in its tracks before it even happens, and crucially, potentially lowering your commercial insurance premiums. The honest truth about this kind of asset protection is that the long-term ROI usually far outweighs that upfront check you write to the installer.
Moving on to Section 2, High-Tech Security Asset Classes. Let's analyze some premium shutter investments.
Think of this as the blue-chip tier of your physical security portfolio. For state-of-the-art electric rolling security shutters, you are looking at a pretty bold capital outlay, ranging from $1,000 to $4,000 per unit. Now, yes, I know that is a significant upfront cost per window or door, but remember, we're talking about high-end assets here. These specific shutters can be operated seamlessly via wall switches, remote controls, or even a smartphone app, giving you top-tier defense without creating any extra headaches for your staff.
Now, you might be wondering who exactly justifies this specific capital outlay. Well, based on the data, these premium security shutters are totally ideal for properties housing high-value or highly targeted inventory. We are talking about equipment rental stores, gas stations, pharmacies, and medical clinics. We also see really high demand in shopping malls and specialized retail kiosks. For businesses like these, a break-in doesn't just mean a broken window, it means the loss of heavily regulated or extremely expensive goods. The risk of vandalism and burglary here literally makes that $1,000 to $4,000 investment per unit a complete no-brainer.
Expanding on that a bit, the broader category of standard electric roller shutters carries an estimated cost range of $1,000 to $5,000 per shutter. And obviously, the final price depends heavily on the size, the material, and any custom features you add. Because of their sheer versatility, these are actually some of the absolute most in-demand exterior shutters being sold on the market today, immensely popular across both the commercial and residential sectors.
Now, what's really interesting about this slide is how these high-tech features actually translate into daily labor savings. Because these rely on automated motors, your totally exhausted closing manager isn't spending 20 minutes wrestling with manual locks in the dark after a long shift. With wireless remote controls, wall switches, keypads, and smartphone applications, securing the entire building becomes a 5-second, highly secure task. That convenience absolutely cannot be overlooked when you're calculating your overall labor costs and daily operational efficiency.
Jumping into Section 3, Cost-Effective and Environmental Defenses. Let's talk about manual and hurricane options.
When we compare electric shutters to manual shutters, we are essentially looking at a classic business trade-off, right? We're talking capital outlay versus operational efficiency. Electric options require a higher cash outlay, that $1,000 to $5,000 mark, but they give you incredibly high automation. Manual shutters, on the other hand, lower your initial capital outlay down to between $900 and $3,000, but they do require daily physical labor to operate. You save upfront cash, for sure, but you spend a little more time every single day securing the perimeter.
Let's take a slightly closer look at those manual shutters. As the most affordable option, they average $900 to $3,000 per window, and that usually includes both purchase and installation.
But hey, don't let the lower price tag fool you. They are highly cost-effective assets. They're built from sturdy aluminum or PVC, so they hold up incredibly well against the elements. They feature a removable handle accessible from the inside or outside, and some models even include really robust locking features. This makes them absolutely fantastic for daytime security lockups when you just need to briefly step away from your business.
Okay, now we need to shift gears entirely and look at a completely different pricing model for a completely different kind of risk. For roll-down hurricane shutters, the industry standard prices them between $25 and $60 per square foot. Whether you're protecting a typical business or a home, pricing by the square foot just makes sense here because usually you are covering massive, vulnerable glass expanses rather than standard commercial doorways.
The specific use case for hurricane shutters is extreme environmental risk mitigation. These aren't just for stopping burglars, guys. They are designed to stop flying debris during severe weather. They are constructed from heavy-duty double-wall extruded aluminum or roll-formed aluminum injected with high-density foam. They let fresh air in on a bright sunny Tuesday, but completely lock down into an impenetrable shield when a massive storm rolls in on Thursday, easily blocking objects that would otherwise totally decimate your storefront.
Which brings us to our final section, Section 4, calculating your security ROI, maximizing your investment. And this brilliantly illustrates everything we've been talking about. Let's walk through your security investment matrix in one glance. You've got premium security and electric shutters focused heavily on convenience and anti-burglary automation for $1,000 to $5,000. You have manual shutters offering strong budget security between $900 and $3,000, and finally, hurricane options scaling at $25 to $60 a square foot for serious environmental defense. You really just have to match your primary use case to the corresponding price range.
So how do we actually turn this financial advice into a real operational plan for your storefront? The experts at Affordable Security Shutters recommend a super straightforward 4-step process. First, review your specific openings: doors, windows, kiosks, the whole shebang. Second, honestly assess your business's risk level regarding crime or weather. Third, determine your available capital budget based on the matrix we literally just reviewed. And fourth, reach out and request a free quote and security assessment to get a recommended shutter solution tailored to your exact location. To wrap things up, I want to leave you with this final, slightly provocative thought to consider as you look over your ledger. Based on your specific storefront's risk level, the value of your inventory, the threat of severe weather, the reality of vandalism in your area, can your business actually afford not to invest in protection? Weigh the devastating, hidden costs of a break-in against the long-term, tangible value of asset protection. The math, as they say, might surprise you. Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer, and I'll see you next time as we continue to break down the strategies that keep you informed and secure.